Hi guys, and welcome back to another reading vlog. Today is day one of the Disney read-along. I'm just about to leave for work, so I haven't got any actual reading done today yet, but I am going to take my Star Wars book with me just so maybe I can read a little bit at work. I always say I'm gonna do that and then I never do, but maybe today will be the day. I also woke up this morning with like the beginning of a cold, so fingers crossed it doesn't get any worse. Or at least I don't get a sore throat, because it's like game over when that happens.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called foreshadowing. So it is now day 3 of the Disney read-along, and I'm finally able to talk without the feeling of knives running down my throat. If that doesn't make you cringe, I don't know what will. Needless to say, I haven't read pretty much at all for the last 2 days, so I am super behind in this whole readathon. Like, I had so many plans and they just all went down the toilet real fast. So I decided today, since I was finally able to talk, that I would try and get dressed and put makeup on. I thought it would make me feel better. I instantly realized that that was a mistake the second that I put foundation on my nose and it started to burn concerningly bad. And let's be real, the foundation isn't even there anymore. Like, I have blown my nose so much and there's just so much happening here that it's not not doing well. So let me tell you about what reading I did do or did not do, honestly. So on the first day of the readathon, the lighting's awful, but what can I do? I did read a little bit of Jedi Search. I'm now on page 44 of this, not very far at all. And then the only other book, technically, besides reading Rapunzel and watching Tangled, that I would have to read to complete all of the challenges is Obsidio. But in order to read Obsidio, I have to have read Gemina, which I have barely started. I'm on page 62 of Gemina. I was supposed to finish this before the readathon even started, but I don't know what happened, but I didn't finish it, that's for sure. So I have to read this, read Obsidio, finish reading this, read Rapunzel, and watch Tangled, all before the readathon ends. Hopefully I can read today. I feel like I'm going to pick up a book and instantly just fall asleep, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to go make myself some lunch now. I took off work today. I had to take off yesterday, and I just figured I'd take today off as well. But I'm making up for today by working on Thursday, which was when I was supposed to have off. Long story that you didn't actually need to know. But I'm going to go make lunch. I think I'll make myself some soup. They say you should have like chicken noodle soup when you're sick, but that's disgusting. I'm going to make some New England clam chowder with saltines. So yeah. Alright, it's probably like 2 hours later, and I'm finally getting around to reading some more. So I'm on page 50 now. I read exactly 6 pages. But like I said, I just started, but I thought I would let you guys know. Ooh, I'm not filming well today, am I? I also look insane. My nose is probably significantly redder than it was before, and I'm kind of self-conscious about filming because at any point stuff could start dripping down my nose and I won't realize until like it hits my mouth, honestly. That was kind of gross. But I thought I would tell you guys my thoughts on this because I didn't really talk about that earlier. So what are my thoughts? The thing about Star Wars novels, which I haven't read a lot of, like I read the Star Wars trilogy, which I think at least 1 or 2 of those books was written by George Lucas, but they were basically word for word of the film. So I love them because it was basically just like reading the film. Whereas with these that kind of go off in other directions, and I don't know if at one point this was canon or not, but you have to capture the essence of these characters correctly because these are like beloved characters. A lot of people have grown up with these characters. We know them well, and so we know when they're not portrayed right, and I feel like I'm having a hard time imagining them saying like some of the things that they're saying in this book and just that kind of thing. And just like some of the stuff that like Han Solo says in here, I'm just like, I cannot picture him saying it. I can't picture Harrison Ford reading that in the script and saying it. Like, he would change that instantly. So that's my first problem with this book. The other problem is it's just not that well written. Like, on the page I'm currently reading, Han Solo says, "How long have we been here, Chewie? Do you know?" And the next sentence is just, "Chewbacca didn't know." And I'm just like, that was like very straightforward. Another thing, which I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's just constantly referencing the original films. It's like the author is just constantly reminding us that this is a Star Wars book and that stuff happened in the original movies or whatever.
it's a lot of references back to the original one. Like, I'm enjoying it because, like, it's Star Wars, so of course I like it, but I just doesn't feel super authentic. It feels like I'm kind of reading a Star Wars fan fiction, which I guess that, like, I kind of am. It's about 2 hours later. I took a, like, hour and a half break from reading, so I'm only on page 74, but I just remembered another reason why this book is, like, laughably bad, and maybe this is just me, but I'm like 99% sure that R2-D2 and C-3PO, their names are spelled like the letter R, the number 2, the letter D, the number 2, like R2-D2. In this book, they are literally spelled out like A-R-T-O-O-D-E-T-O-O, and C-3PO's name is literally S-E-E-T-H-R-E-E-P-I-O. Like, what? For some reason, that's just, like, the funniest thing to me. But yeah, there's my little update. I'm only on page 74, so don't judge me, I'm sick.
So it is now the next day, which makes it day 4 of the Disney read-along. In case you couldn't hear it in my voice or see it in my red nose, I'm still sick and not feeling very well. Luckily, I had off from work again today. This was a day I was supposed to actually have off from work. But it's already after 2 in the afternoon, and I haven't read anything. I have been lip-syncing to Disney music for the past 3 hours. The closing song, in case you were curious, was Go the Distance from Hercules. Yeah, I haven't read at all today. Other than that, it's been a pretty not productive day besides the singing, but last night I did read up to page 100 in Jedi Search. It's still as bad as it was yesterday, but like I'm enjoying it because it's one of those things where it's so bad that it's just fun to make fun of it. So yeah, I'm like entertained while reading it. I think today I'm gonna try and like instead of just reading this book like I did yesterday, I'm gonna like alternate, and I'm also just gonna switch up my TBR entirely because I've decided that pretty much every challenge that Obsidio would have completed, this can complete as well, except for the read a book with black and white on the cover. So I'm just going to read this for all of those challenges, and then I'm going to pick another book that's a lot shorter that has black and white on the cover, and hopefully then I can complete all of these books. I say hopefully very loosely. But yeah, my camera battery is viciously flashing at me, so I am going to go now, and I will update you guys later. Wow. My nose is really red. Hopefully that's not too distracting. Like, I would cover it up with makeup, but let me tell you, that burns so bad to put makeup on it. But I've been blowing my nose all stinking day. But it's many hours later. I thought I would give you another little reading update. Hopefully my nose isn't too distracting. Like, just don't look at it, okay? So I'm now up to page, like, 140 of Jedi Search. I don't think I ever really explained what this book was about, but I need to tell you what happened in this last 40 pages. This isn't going to be a spoiler, really. Not that, like, anyone's going to read this book anyway, but so basically what this book is about, which I think is really just like a setup for the second and third book, is that like Luke is trying to find, like, after the Emperor like killed off all of the Jedi, or so he thinks, Luke is trying to find any remaining Jedi. Like, he thinks surely the Emperor couldn't have found like every single line of Jedi and killed them off. So he's trying to find these people that have the Force so that he can train them in the Jedi Academy, hence the name of the trilogy. So in these last 40 pages, we follow Lando Calrissian. They somehow found a trace on some guy that they think might have the Force. So Lando and R2-D2 and C-3PO go to this planet. They've like tracked him down to this planet that is all, this planet is all about blob racing, which maybe I didn't understand that concept, but as far as I know, it's one of the greatest things I've ever heard. So there are these blobs, right, which are just like different colored blobs, like just like gooey blobs of goo, and I think they're like sentient, and it said in the book, like some people have them as pets, and some people have them for other things, and then some people race them. And they have to do these races where there's like obstacles, but they're called blobsticles. This planet that they're on is like really into this blob racing, and like Lando of course is really into it because it's like about making bets and stuff, and you can like win money off of it if the blob that you bet on wins, whatever. But then to make it even better, they are tracking down this guy, and they find this guy, and then they lose him for a little bit, but then R2 finds him. and they're like, he's in the blob corral dressed as a blob wrangler. And it's just like, what is this element that should have been in all of the movies? Because this just blob racing, I'm into it, frankly. This was a very entertaining 40 pages of my life that I'll never get back, and I'm glad, because I would read it over and over again if I could. So yeah, I just felt very compelled to tell you about blob racing, which is a new concept that I love. Yeah, as far as like my overall thoughts on this book, still I don't think it's that great, but frankly I'm extremely entertained by it, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm 140 pages into this, and then I've also read quite a bit of Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I forgot for a second. By quite a bit, not really. I'm almost at the 100-page mark. I'm on page 96, so basically I'm at 100. And the thing about this book is, like, I read the 60 pages of it before this readathon started. We don't have to talk about that. But the first, like, 60 pages or so, I wasn't sure if I was really into it. Like, I loved Illuminae. It was possibly my favorite book that I've read so far this year. And I didn't realize going into Gemina that it, like, continues the same story, but the characters that we're following so far are not the same ones from Illuminae, and that's the thing that I really loved about Illuminae, was the characters. Overall, the plot of Illuminae I was a little bit confused about, and that's the same thing that's happening in this book, where I'm like kind of confused as to what's going on. But I really like the format of it, and I am starting to warm up to the characters. One of the main characters' names is Hannah, so of course I'm like warming up to her because hello. So yeah, I'm about 100 pages into this. I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to decide what I'll pick up as my third read, because like I said, both of these books will complete all of the challenges except for the Tangled one, which I just have to watch Tangled and read the little short fairy tale. And then the only other challenge that these don't complete is to read a book with black and white on the cover, which there's like a ton of books on my shelf that have black and white on the cover. So I'm just trying to decide what my third book is gonna be. But yeah, I am planning on reading both of these like interchangeably again tonight, and hopefully I'll get a fair way into both of them / no, I'm not going to finish one. But yeah, that is all for now, and probably for tonight. I will update you guys again probably tomorrow. Hey guys, so it is now day 5 of the Disney read-along, and I just got home from work. My voice. I feel like I've reached the point of a cold where I just have like really horrible coughing fits all the time, because I keep getting like that tickle in your throat that you can't get rid of, and it just makes you cough intensely. So that's where I'm at right now, and I'm trying really hard to like hold in the coughs. I have like a rogue piece of hair right here, like I don't know what it's doing, but yeah, I just got home from work, and the only thing I've read since the last time I updated you was Star Wars, so I'm now on page 188, so I'm about a little more than halfway through it, and I'm hoping to read another large chunk of this tonight. I'm also going to read more of Gemina. I'm still about 100 pages into this, and yeah, I've also decided kind of what book I'm going to read for the black and white on the cover challenge. I thought since like it's already day 5 and I have to finish these 2 books, I should probably pick something that is really kind of fast-paced, so obviously I thought a thriller would work. So I've narrowed it down to 2 possible thrillers. The first one is A Stranger in the House by Sherry LaPena, and the other one is Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough. I can't decide which one I want to read, so I think when the time comes down to it, I'm going to post a poll on my Instagram story and let you guys pick which one I read. And since they're both thrillers, and they're not, like, both of them aren't that long either, hopefully I can finish them in like a day, in like 2 sittings or something, and then let's hope I finish all the challenges. I don't know. That's pretty much my only update. As far as like my thoughts on this book still, I know I mentioned already that this book feels a bit like reading Star Wars fan fiction, but like honestly, that's what it feels like. Like, it's not that well written, the plot isn't that great, the characters aren't super true to themselves, but it's just like really fun. And you know, that's good enough for me. Other than that, I don't think I really have anything else to say. I did just set a date for the watch along, so we'll be watching Tangled. It's already have happened for you guys, but it's happening tomorrow for me, so I am very excited for that. And I think I should probably run some Twitter sprints tonight, because I've only run 1 round of Twitter sprints so far. Hey guys, so it is now day 6 of the readathon. I just got home from work and ate dinner, and I thought I would do a little bit of an update. I haven't read since I got home, but I read quite a bit this morning and last night, so I've got a bit of updating for you. My nose is really red and like flaking off at this point because I've just been blowing it so much, so I hope you can't tell. So this morning I read quite a bit of my Star Wars novel, so I'm now up to page 316 of this, and it's only about 350 pages, so I'm less than 50 pages from the end. Hopefully I'll either be able to finish this, oh my goodness, what just happened? Hopefully I'll be able to finish this either tonight or really early tomorrow because I have to go to work again tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. And then I read last night Gemina, so I'm now up to page 254, so I'm not even halfway through this book yet, but it is in that like mixed media format, so it kind of goes by pretty quickly. I also feel like I'm kind of starting to like get into the story now, like the main plot has kind of started and I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely very fast paced, which also helps in reading it a lot faster, so I'm planning on reading more of this tonight. But the watch along of Tangled starts in less than an hour, in like a half hour, so I'm gonna watch Tangled. I don't know how long that's gonna be, probably like 2 hours, so when I'm done with that, then I'm just going to jump straight back into reading because tomorrow is the last day of the readathon and I still have to read one other book besides the two that I just talked about. And I have to read the Tangled fairy tale. I totally forgot about that. Okay, strategizing. I'm gonna do that now. I'm going to read the fairy tale. I actually don't know how long it is, but if it's anything like the other fairy tales, it's only like 5 pages. So I'm gonna read that right now. I'm actually going to post, like I talked about yesterday, I think, the poll on my Instagram story of which thriller book that I want to read, so that whenever I finish this book and hopefully this book tonight or early tomorrow, then I can just get started with one of those books that I talked about, either A Stranger in the House or Behind Her Eyes. So that is what's happening tonight, and I will probably just update you guys either tomorrow or again later tonight. Not really sure. We'll see how I'm feeling. And yep. Final day of the readathon is upon us. Oh my goodness, everyone is scrambling to finish their reading challenges, including myself. Well, some people aren't. Some people are like totally on top of things. And I think I saw a tweet today that somebody completed all of the challenges, so good for you. I am not doing quite as well. But I do have 2 updates for you. I completed 2 of the challenges so far. The first one was the Tangled challenge, which I completed last night by reading the original fairy tale and watching the Tangled movie, which I had an absolute blast doing the watch along on Twitter. I love discussing it with you guys. But then this morning I finished Jedi Search, which completes the Incredibles challenge of reading a book featuring characters or a character with superhuman or magical abilities. So finished this. I give it 3 stars. It was, it was entertaining, it was a good time, but it's not that great of a book, and I don't know if I'll continue on with the trilogy or not. But that's 2 challenges completed. I also read quite a bit of Gemina today and yesterday, so I'm now on page 454 of 659, so about 200 pages from the end. And just how the like formatting is, I would say it would take me about 2 hours to finish the last however many pages of this book. Like 2 hours at the most, maybe. I also posted on my Instagram asking you guys to vote between those 2 thriller books so that I know which one I'm going to read, and the voting is still happening. It still has a couple hours left, but so far the winner is Stranger in the House, so I think I will read that one as soon as I finish Gemina, if I'm able to do it before the end of the night. I also should have probably mentioned that I just got home from work, so it's like 6 o'clock at night. The readathon is basically almost over, so like I said, I got 2 hours to read this book, and then I have to read the entirety of A Stranger in the House. So, I don't know if I'm going to complete all of the challenges, but you better believe I'm going to try my best. So it's now a little past 8:30, and since the last time we talked, I ate dinner, had a slight family emergency. Don't worry, hopefully everything is fine now. And I read a little bit. Actually, I read quite a lot. I'm like pretty impressed with myself. So I'm on page 560 of 659. So I've got that much left to go, and I think it's like a little less than 100 pages until the end. Yes, it's like 99 pages until the end. Hopefully it'll only take me about an hour to read all of that, and then I can get started with my last book. And if it like takes me until like a little past midnight or like 1 or 2 in the morning to finish that book, I'm gonna let myself have that little cheat time, because I missed 2 days of the readathon, the first 2 days, because I was really sick, and everything that could have possibly gone wrong this week basically went wrong. So yeah, I'm gonna allow myself like an hour or 2 of cheat time after 12 if that's how long it takes me to read that book. But as far as like Gemina goes, I have to say I'm really enjoying this. The story is really picking up, and there's like some things about it that really parallels the plot in Illuminae, but I kind of like it, and I'm really connected to the characters again. And I don't want to spoil anything, but somebody may have died, and it stressed me out a lot, let me tell you. But as with anything, no one ever really stays dead. I shouldn't spoil you, so I'm gonna stop talking, and I will update you guys a little bit later when I have more things to tell you. Okay, it's now 10 o'clock at night, and I just finished Gemina. And I have no words to describe the last 50 pages that I just read. I don't even know what I'm gonna rate this book. Like, I want to give it a 5, but I also was a little bit confused by the ending, or like the last little bit, and it took me a little while to get into this book. Like, I wasn't really sure about it for the first 100 or so pages, but also the parts that I did like, I really loved. So I want to give it 5 stars, but I'm just not really sure. Either way, this completed 2 challenges, the Beast Challenge, which was to read a book that is over 500 pages, and also the Meet the Robinsons Challenge, which was to read a book that is set in the future. So 4 challenges completed now. All I have left is the Flower Challenge, which is to read a book with black and white on the cover, and as per my Instagram poll, I'll be reading A Stranger in the House by Sherry LaPenna, so I should probably get started since it's already 10 o'clock at night. I don't actually know how long this book is. Okay, looks like it's about 305 pages, so hopefully this won't take me too long to read. I am a little bit nervous because I did like Gemina so much, and I feel like any book that I rate really high kind of leaves me in a book hangover, even if it's just for like the day. So I'm kind of nervous about immediately jumping into a new story, because I kind of do just want to like sit and think about the book I just read, but I really want to finish all of the challenges for this readathon, so I'm just going to jump into this book, and hopefully it doesn't ruin this book for me too much, because my mind is still stuck in the other one. So it's now about 11 o'clock at night, and I'm 70 pages into A Stranger in the House. I'm reading this a lot slower than the other book because it's obviously formatted with a lot more words. It's still a little bit too early to give like an opinion on this book. I'm also kind of getting really tired, so I feel like I wouldn't be able to form a proper opinion anyway. But that's my progress so far, not even a third of the way through it yet, and the readathon ends in an hour. But like I said, I'm giving myself the extra hour or 2 after the readathon ends to make up for the time that I lost. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on reading. So it is now just about midnight. I don't even know if you could see that. It's 11:59, and I am just about at the midway point of A Stranger in the House. For some reason I keep forgetting the title of this book, but so far it's kind of like a lot of the other thrillers that I've read, where the plot is like pretty interesting, but I don't have any kind of feelings or care about the characters at all, which is kind of unfortunate because I'm a pretty character-driven reader. But yeah, I'm going to continue on reading this. Hopefully I can finish it in the next 2 hours or so, and I will probably just update you then. I am falling asleep, not gonna lie. So it's about 1:45 in the morning. Again, I don't know if you can really see that, but I just finished A Stranger in the House by Sherry LaPenna, and wow, that was a roller coaster, I will say. I am really tired, so I think I'm going to film like a concluding wrap up tomorrow and put that on the end of this, but
I officially, unofficially completed all 5 of the reading challenges. This completed the flower challenge of reading a book with black and white on the cover. So yeah, I'm super tired. I will update you guys tomorrow. So it's the next day and the Disney read-along is officially over. I thought I would just do a quick little wrap-up to show you all of the books and the challenges that I finished. So technically the first challenge that I finished was the Tangled challenge. So I read the original Rapunzel fairy tale by the Brothers Grimm and I watched the Tangled movie. I ended up giving the Rapunzel story a 3-star rating. It was good, but not as good as some of the other ones that I've read, like Beauty and the Beast and Snow White, which I really loved, but it was still a good story. The next challenge I completed was the Incredibles challenge, which was to read a book that featured a character or characters with superhuman or magical abilities. For that I read Jedi Search, which I also gave 3 stars. I then completed the Beast challenge of reading a book that is 500 plus pages, as well as the Meet the Robinsons challenge, which was to read a book that's set in the future, and for that I read Gemina, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars, like 4.75 if we're being really technical. So that completed those 2 challenges. And finally I completed the Flower challenge, which was to read a book with black and white on the cover by reading Stranger in the House by Sherry LaPenna, which I gave 3.75 out of 5 stars. So in the end I did complete all 5 challenges. Even if I wouldn't have given myself that little 2-hour extension, somebody did mention on Twitter that technically this book also has black and white on the cover because of the text, but I think the little 2 hours it took me to finish up this book should count. As far as like my total page count, I posted it on Twitter, but I think it was something like 1,300 or so, which isn't that far off from what I read in an entire month, so it's pretty impressive that I read that in a week. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is a wrap on round 2 of the Disney read-along. I can't wait to do it again next year. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!
Did you hear that, Samson?